So, for entrepreneurs all over the world, the US LLC is like the holy grail. It's pitched as this impenetrable fortress, right? A shield that keeps your personal savings safe from any business trouble. And look, in a lot of ways, it absolutely is. But what if I told you that fortress is riddled with hidden traps? Yeah, let's get right into it. Because for anyone who's not paying close attention, especially if you're an owner living outside the US, that mighty fortress can turn into a nasty, high stakes penalty trap almost overnight. We're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden fines that can literally tear a business apart before it even gets off the ground. So think of what we're doing here as a quick documentary, a cautionary tale about the really surprising financial landmines just waiting in the fine print of owning an LLC. We're going to look at the exact rules and the frankly staggering costs of what happens when you get them wrong. Okay, our first story is about a ghost, and this ghost specifically haunts foreign-owned, single-member LLCs. Now, this isn't a ghost that cares if you made money or lost money. Nope. This is a ghost that's triggered by paperwork, and believe me, it comes with a terrifyingly high price tag. So let me ask you a quick question. Picture this. Your brand new LLC. It had a really quiet first year. You got it set up, but you didn't make a single dime in profit. You'd assume you owe the IRS absolutely nothing, right? Well, you'd probably be wrong. And here is the number that makes everyone's jaw drop. $25,000. That is the automatic, straight out of the gate penalty from the IRS for not filing one specific form. And get this, it applies even if your business had zero income and did absolutely nothing all year. The form, the culprit, is called Form 5472, and it's just an information return. All it does is tell the IRS about any transactions between a foreign-owned U.S. company, which the IRS calls a disregarded entity, and you, the foreign owner. The key thing to understand here is that this is all about reporting information, not about paying taxes on profits. Now, this is the part that gets people. What counts as a reportable transaction? It's not some big, complicated international deal. It's as simple as the money you sent from your personal bank account to pay the state's LLC formation fee, or the cash you sent over to pay your registered agent for the year. I mean, these are the most basic, fundamental steps to starting a business, and they are exactly what trigger the filing requirement. I know, it gets so much worse. If you miss that filing, bam, you get hit with the first $25,000 penalty. The IRS then mails you a notice. If you ignore it, or maybe you just never get it because you're overseas, after 90 days, the penalties start to multiply. The IRS can tack on another $25,000 for every single 30-day period you're still out of compliance. You can see how this spirals into a business-killing debt in no time at all. Okay, let's shift gears to the next trap. This one is all about being transparent, and it's not just for foreign owners. And the scary part here, the penalties aren't a one-time thing. They are calculated by the day. So there's this thing called the Corporate Transparency Act, and under this act, most LLCs now have to file what's called a Beneficial Ownership Information Report, or BOI report for short. The goal is really simple. The government wants to know who actually owns and controls the company. No more hiding behind anonymous shell corporations. So what happens if you just decide not to file this report? You get hit with a civil penalty. And that penalty, after the latest inflation adjustment, can be up to $591. Now, you might be thinking, well, that's not as bad as $25,000. But here's the kicker. It's per day. This lays out the double whammy you're facing. On one side, you have that civil penalty, that $591 fine just ticking up day after day after day. But on the other side, if they decide you're willfully not complying, it can escalate to criminal penalties, and that can mean even bigger fines and, yes, in serious cases, actual prison time. So far, we've just been talking about the federal government, about Uncle Sam. But let's not forget, the states want their piece of the action too. Every state where your LLC is registered basically acts like its own little kingdom, and they all collect a toll to let your business stay alive. And that toll usually looks like an annual report or something called a franchise tax. It's a yearly chore where you have to update your company's info and pay a fee. Making sure you hit this deadline is what keeps your LLC in good standing, which is absolutely essential for keeping your legal shield, that liability protection, active. Let's look at a few quick examples. In Delaware, you get hit with a $200 late fee plus interest, but the real punishment is that they can just kill your company, stripping away all its legal protections. Over in Florida, if you miss the May 1st deadline, it's a $400 penalty. Don't fix it? By September, your company is dissolved. Gone. And then there's California. They charge an $800 minimum tax even if you made $0.
If you don't pay, they suspend your right to do any business at all.
And on top of all these special, kind of sneaky penalties, there are the more boring, familiar ones. If your LLC has more than one owner, or you've chosen to be taxed as a corporation, you're also on the hook for all the standard IRS penalties for filing or paying your income taxes late. This chart gives you a pretty quick breakdown. You've got your late filing penalty, which can be 5% of whatever you owe every month. Then there's the late payment penalty, which is a 0.5% per month. And if you're really late, more than 60 days, a minimum penalty kicks in. Right now, that's $435 or 100% of the tax due, whichever is smaller. Okay, I know that was a whole lot of bad news, but here's the good news. Every single one of these traps is completely avoidable. So let's stop talking about the problems and focus on the solution. Here is a super clear, simple defense plan to make sure your LLC stays a fortress and doesn't become a trap. All right, it really boils down to this 3-step plan. Number 1, if you are a foreign owner of a single-member LLC, you absolutely must file Form 5472. I don't care if you made $0. File it. Number 2, find out what your state's annual fee deadline is, put it in your calendar with a million reminders, and pay it on time. And number 3, do not skimp on your registered agent. A good, reliable one is your first line of defense. They're the ones who get those critical warning letters from the IRS or the state long before things spiral out of control. So that really brings us to the final question, the one you need to ask yourself. After hearing about all these hidden tripwires, is your business really operating like a secure fortress, totally protected by being compliant? Or is there a deadline you've forgotten about, a form you didn't even know existed that's turning your business into a ticking clock? The choice and ultimately the responsibility is all yours.